Hey guys, welcome back. So today I want to talk about thermal sights, specifically weapon sights and even handheld thermals, which are really handy for hunters when they're out in the field looking for game, looking for a place to set up, following blood trails, and all sorts of other useful applications. With regards to a weapon sight, I really think that thermals are kind of the future. And there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, a lot of people misconstrue thermals as being strictly night vision devices, and that's simply not true. They see just as well at night as they do in the daylight. Unlike true night vision, which is a light intensifying unit, it really is only designed to operate at night. Now, you can operate them in the daylight hours with special filters, but that's not where they're optimal. Okay, they're really meant for use at night. Now, one of the reasons I think thermals are really going to be coming of age over the next few years is because the price continues to drop on them. And the reason being is that unlike night vision, which will always be expensive to manufacture just because of the nature of how the light intensifying units are made, it's just an expensive process, it uses expensive materials, the thermal sight is more like a digital camera. It has a sensor that is very much like a digital camera sensor, with the exception that it is sensitive to infrared light versus visible light, which is the light that obviously humans and most animals use to see. Now, that's not always true either. A little interesting piece of fact in this whole discussion is that there are animals on the planet that can see in the infrared spectrum. Pit vipers, such as rattlesnakes, can see in the infrared spectrum, and they can easily track and find warm-blooded creatures for food. But because we're human, we can't see in that spectrum. Thermals allow us to, and with the dropping prices and the increasing resolution and the better the sensors are getting, I really do think that thermals in the next few years are going to become the optics of choice for a lot of hunters once state laws start to catch up with modern technology. Now, if you've been following the channel for the last couple of years, you'll know that I've been using and buying Armasight thermals. Now, Armasight was recently acquired by FLIR, and as an Armasight customer, I was a little bit concerned about that acquisition. What did that mean? Would I still be able to get my sights warrantied? Were they going to do away with the brand? What was going to happen? Well, I had the opportunity to go out to FLIR in Portland, Oregon, and chat with the guys at FLIR about their acquisition decision, what it was all about, why they did it, and also while I was there, I had a chance to tour the factory, and we'll give you guys a peek at some of that video. So anyway, that's what this video is about: thermal sights, the acquisition of Armasight by FLIR, and also a behind-the-scenes look into FLIR and their manufacturing. Let's get going. FLIR has produced several commercial products for the hunting and shooting community, such as the Scout series of handheld thermals, which are handy for spotting game and tracking them. Not only do they make these handheld units and various commercial units, FLIR also produced thermal sights for sportsmen. However, until the recent acquisition of Armasight, FLIR's footprint in the commercial space was somewhat limited.
One of the things we get asked when FLIR acquires companies is whether or not we bought them just to shut down a competitor, just to kind of clear the market space for us. And that is absolutely not FLIR's strategy. Our strategy is to find other companies with competitive leadership in those spaces that we think there's a good opportunity for us to work together to bring an expanded portfolio to that end user. We're very committed to the outdoor market right now, and we will be in the future. It's an area of focus for us, and we saw in Armasight a leader in that space and somebody that we could partner with and work with to really bring the American sportsman a better product tomorrow. One of the reasons we think the outdoor space is really a growth opportunity for us is this technology has come so far in the last couple of years from what was only available to the military 5 or 6 or 10 years ago is now available to the average American sportsman at an available price, at a competitive price. And really only because of FLIR's scale and the number of markets we play in have we been able to take that technology and make it more mass producible and reduce the cost structure to bring it to the American sportsman today, what was only available to the military 10 years ago.
FLIR is one of the largest manufacturers of thermal cores. The core is the essence of the thermal imaging device. Now, there are devices being made or cores being made overseas, places like China, but the FLIR cores are considered to be some of the best in the industry. A lot of the competitors that have lower prices will be using Chinese cores or cores acquired elsewhere. When FLIR purchased Armasight, Armasight was the largest purchaser in the United States of FLIR cores. So it was a natural marriage that Armasight and FLIR would wind up working together. Here's how a thermal imaging camera works. First of all, you have a special objective lens that focuses the infrared light emitted by all of the objects within view. Next, the focused light is scanned by a phased array of infrared detector elements. The detector elements create a very detailed temperature pattern called a thermogram. The thermogram created by the detector elements is translated into electric impulses. The signal processing unit sends the information to the display where it appears as various colors depending on the intensity of the infrared emission.
Night vision really improved your sensitivity to a wavelength you were already capable of seeing. Fundamentally, it was just multiplying existing ambient light. Being an entirely separate wavelength, thermal gives you just an entirely different kind of information, just like you said. The ability to visualize the warmth of a blood trail, night vision would never have shown you that. But now that's a new tool that helps you be a more responsible, more ethical hunter.
The best part of the trip for me was to get a peek behind the curtain and see how some of the most sophisticated optics, not just thermals, were manufactured right here in the USA. Much of what I saw I couldn't shoot video of because FLIR is a defense contractor. However, what I can tell you is that their technical capabilities were staggering to see firsthand. One of the most interesting pieces of equipment that we had a chance to see and play with while at the FLIR facilities was a unit they call the gimbal. You may recognize it as a ball unit that mounts to the nose of aircraft like the Apache attack helicopters, or you may even see them mounted to rescue vehicles or police helicopters. These units house a number of different sensors, including thermal imagers, night vision, and also incredibly powerful optical zoom lenses. The gimbal can see in the dark, rain, snow, and can even spot bad guys from incredible distances. The uses for this incredibly powerful system are practically endless and really give our warriors and first responders incredible capabilities. I've used their commercial thermal sights and found they offer stunning detail. However, when I saw the capabilities of the gimbal, I was left almost speechless. They couldn't tell me what they were worth, but I would donate an organ to have one for myself. Andrew was piloting the gimbal when a passerby was walking across the parking lot. He demonstrated how easily the system could lock onto a target and track it. Now keep in mind, this was not a weapon system we were playing with, just a sensor package so our unknowing participant was in no real danger.
One of the great things about being in so many different market segments like FLIR is that in each of those segments there are constantly advances being made in how to make thermal imagery more useful, more portable, etc. And the great thing about being in those segments as FLIR is that we can share that technology and that innovation across segments. So just because an innovation is made in airborne law enforcement imaging or home inspection doesn't mean we can't pull that technology over into the outdoor space as well, and vice versa. And that ability to cross-pollinate technologies gives FLIR a definite advantage in bringing newer technologies to the market faster.
Another thing I learned about FLIR's operations that blew me away was that they grow their own crystals and they manufacture them into some of the highest quality lenses made. That's no small feat nor minor investment. Just how sensitive are modern commercial thermal optics, you may ask? Well, to answer that question, I ask you to watch carefully. You will actually see the 6.5 Grendel bullet in flight streaking towards the target 100 yards away. Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Hope you guys enjoyed today's video and taking a look behind the scenes at FLIR and getting an idea of what goes into the manufacturing of thermal sights for weapons, for handheld use, and also for law enforcement and military applications. If you guys have any questions about anything you've seen in this video, you can ask those questions down below. We usually stick around for the first couple of days after a video goes live to answer the questions you guys may have. Also, please swing by and check out Copper Custom if you want to support us here at the Military Arms Channel. It's the best possible way. And if you haven't already, please check out full30.com. That's full30.com. We've taken all the web's best firearms content creators and brought them under one roof, and that is full30.com. Thanks for watching, everybody. Talk to you guys soon.